right. When it comes to the Timberwolves and dissecting their playoff series, nobody gets more attention on the court and in the media than the leader, Karl Anthony Towns. Towns, who had entered the season with just one playoff appearance in 6 seasons when they were manhandled by the number 1 seeded Houston Rockets in 2018, losing 4 games to 1, has often faced questions of his emotional immaturity during his career and ability to put the team on his back and carry the franchise deep into the playoffs. Between the Clippers and Grizzlies in the last 5 games, Cat has put up a few clunkers and been a no-show in 3 of those contests and forced his teammates to pick up the slack when he's been out of sync. However, Game 4, we talked about it a few days ago. He got angry. You saw the real Cat stand up, putting 33 points up, 14 boards, flashing that ability again to be the true leader in critical situations. Reggie, it's year 7 now. Many say he is the best, most talented big man in the league. And questions still remain about that emotional ability to become the head boss on a young team like Minnesota that needs it, especially in the playoffs, where Cat's career, again, is now just 3-6 in postseason play. My question for you is, just how pivotal is this series going to be when we look back, when the dust settles, when we evaluate Cat's overall abilities as the leader? A legacy may be a strong word this early in his career, but how does that change if they win? And what does it look like if they let this series slip away?
So I'm not big on making these big sweeping, things about these players. So what's interesting about Cat is, it's year 7, but he's still a young guy, man. He's still trying to figure it out. Like, this is only the second time that he's made the postseason in his career, and to really kind of like define a guy by his second ever like playoff series is kind of messed up, don't you think? Like, I feel like it's not fair to him as a player to really kind of define, what his career is and who he is based on this one, experience, like his one real meaningful experience as the guy. Because, the first time it was kind of like, this is Jimmy Butler's team. And now it actually is Cat's team, and he's figuring some things out. He's had some clunkers. He's gotten mad. He stormed out of pressers, upset. And, this is just all a part of, I feel like, the maturation. Now, what I think it does do is, if he does lead his team to a series win, I do think it kind of like gets his detractors off of his back a little bit, because there seems to be so many of them. And I think that was one of the interesting things that I thought when I was kind of seeing the narrative surrounding him. After some of the bad games that he's had, a lot of people were just so quick to just dunk on him. Like, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to dunk on him in real life, but there was a lot of fans that were, and other just like national media pundits and all that, just kind of like, just really like giving him a hard time for his performances. And I think you kind of got to give him a little grace to figure things out. And I think what he's showing is that he can, and he will. He has been a little too emotional at times. He has been a little too erratic at times with his play. He has been a little too foul troubled with his play. But, I think what the last game showed is that he is capable and he can figure it out. And I think he is figuring things out. Now, he could come out tonight and have another clunker and, have people all upset with him. I saw people saying that he should be traded. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Are you crazy? Yes, you're crazy. Because like the guy has shown like his ability. He's proving his mettle in the postseason right now. Like, the hope is this is the start of a long stretch of meaningful playoff runs for the Timberwolves, and you would hope to see that there won't be several playoff X's in the first round. You would hope to see that this team will continue to glue and mature together and start to figure things out and really start to win. I mean, Anthony Edwards is going to be even better moving forward. You could be talking about Cat and Ant forming the new age Kobe and Shaq type situation. You know what I mean? Like those two guys are on the rise. And so I think it's tough to really just kind of, peg this as being a some type of defining series for Cat, because I still feel like he's figuring things out.
I mean, I love rooting for Cat. Again, ultra talented, makes the league a better league to watch. Young, fun, exciting, makes everybody around him better. But I think, again, when you play devil's advocate, is it fair? Probably not. But that's just what is going to happen. That's part of being a professional athlete. That's what the media's job is going to do. When you're in year 7, it's hard to sit there and say what year 8 is going to be the magic year 9. But I understand what you're saying. He is a young guy. It's great that he's got 7 years under his belt, but he doesn't have a lot of postseason experience yet. And it's tough to define somebody's career, certainly at this point, with just 1 or 2 playoff series. Great point, by the way. That was Jimmy Butler's team in 2018. We already know Cat, Ant, Ja Morant, they get all the screen time and attention, but there is a handful of other names that always end up having such a huge impact on the outcome of these pivotal playoff games. We've seen that already. In Game 4, you can't not mention Jordan McLaughlin comes off the bench. Tightly contested game out of nowhere. 4 for 4 from 3, 5 for 6 from the floor, puts up a quick but huge 16 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, ends the night with a plus-minus, a +6. Reggie, who's another bench or role guy you think could be another X factor on a smaller scale like McLaughlin in Game 5 tonight for either team?
All right, so I got a couple ideas, but, I think this game tonight is going to be interesting from a big man standpoint. And so I could see Naz Reid coming off the bench and playing some big minutes for this team, especially, rowdy, raucous crowd. If Cat somehow, hopefully not, but he gets into some foul trouble or something like that, you need another guy. Memphis got some bigs, man, with Tillman and Clark and Adams. Even though Adams has kind of been
Adams
barbecue
not even
chicken.
playing.
He's not really playing a lot, but the Wolves kind of have to match those guys, and Reed can kind of bang in there with those guys. But I think the role player that really is the X factor for me and has to be every game is Malik Beasley. Really didn't do anything in that last game. Like, I don't even think he scored a point in that last game.
It was quiet.
And he's the guy. He's the spark plug. Come off the bench, lighting up threes, driving to the basket, getting to the rim. I think he's the guy, especially on the road, that can kind of calm things down. If Memphis goes on, a run, or they get a big high-energy basket or something like that, he can come back down on the other end, get open, and splash the 3 from the corner to kind of quiet things down and keep the Wolves going. I'm looking at him to be the guy, because he has been that guy really all season. He's come up big in big moments all season. It's cool that they have the luxury of a Jordan McLaughlin to come off the bench and give him 16 points in that last game. But thank God for him, because if he didn't, like, who was? Because nobody else was doing it. And
they needed every point. They needed every point too.
And you're looking usually at Malik Beasley to be that guy off the bench. That's why he's there. And you want to see a little bit more from him tonight.
Yeah, I'll give you one more on the other side. People already know the name. You've seen him. Apple Valley native, Tyus Jones. Guy comes off the bench. Always good for double-digit points, helping create positive plays for his team when he's on the court. Something about playing against the team he grew up watching, maybe, back where he won a state title inside the Target Center. Remember, he was perfect from three-point range during that Game 3 comeback when the Grizzlies came back down 26 points. Don't forget about Tyus Jones. Maybe just another under-the-radar X factor. Check them all out tonight in Game 5, back in Memphis, 6:30 Central Standard Time. Rest assured, Reggie and I will be here tomorrow to break it all down.